And we're back. You're listening to IBGR.network. IBGR is a call sign as a radio station, but we are much more than a radio station. We are a network of global entrepreneurs coming together to create a shared space for collaboration and business success. Your business success. I'm your host, Jan Robberts. I'm an inspirational entrepreneur, and this is episode 6 already. Wow, nearly halfway through. If it technically, it's only the next time, but nearly halfway through the season already. And there is some amazing episodes from amazing people around the world, all on the IBGR.network. They're on the app, and so you can go down, download all this kind of stuff. There is podcasts, there is show notes, there is so much, including volumes of show notes created over time over the last season or two, or maybe even longer, but there is volumes of it that you can maybe can be very helpful when you get to download them for free on the website. So join us. That's the thing, when you have a voice, let us hear what your challenges are. Let us hear what you would like to hear more about, that you need to hear more about. Let's also hear your comments. I look forward to that. And today I'm talking about getting to know yourself as a serious business. I'm going to talk into what defines you. And to know yourself is to know your future. It is that important. So we're in our People Skills Lane, People for Success at IBGR.network. And you can go to our website, www.ibgr.network, and download our show notes. So if you're listening here for the first time, again, I welcome you. And if you're listening or viewing, you're actually here not for the first time, welcome back. Thank you for joining us, and thank you for sharing this, because now we're already in 152 countries around the world, and we have more than 40 amazing show hosts covering a wealth of information and a wealth of subjects that every entrepreneur needs to know. We're also connected strategically with Cubimo, that's CUBIMO.com, which is also an app where the reason is we're connecting with IBGR as well, and ourselves, Key Leadership Institute, as strategic partners with Cubimo, is because there you can find information for if you have an idea or you want to get help and support. You can actually go on that platform and start finding more and more articles, videos, books that you can download, free material, as well as courses and services from coaches and mentors who have done what you need to do to help you to make sure that you become successful. So that's also a great place where you can go, cubimo.com, www, of course. But the objective of talking into this is to really get to know yourself better first and foremost. And you can do that in a variety of ways. Well, you can, of course, sit down with a pen and paper or with your laptop and do some deep, reflective thinking. Now, that is a way you can do it. There is also ask your family and friends what they think you are good at and where there is, let's say, room for improvement. It's another way. And the third one, which I'm going to talk into that, but it's all possible, of course, but even if you do them, to confirm those kind of things, the third one is take a personality assessment, a personal profile assessment. Now, I want to talk a bit more about personal assessments right now, because many people, when they hear assessment or they already hear test, they think they're going to be judged and put in yet another box, and therefore resist any such process. Now, however, nothing can be further from the truth. Everyone around you puts us in a box. Some good, some bad, and some downright ugly. And now I know the more mature people who are listening when I said the good, the bad, and the ugly, some people are starting to whistle. The older ones know that. But we accept many of them and another plethora of these boxes ourselves. I am, and you put in what you are or I are not. I will never be able to. See, and the list goes on and on. All these boxes are stacking up. When you finally get to know yourself, it is absolutely liberating. And in my opinion, at least, after studying this and becoming a behavior analysis consultant and trainer, it is probably the first time we can take ourselves out of any of those boxes because we finally know. Not based on other people's opinions, not based on other people's perceptions, not based on other people's beliefs or our own and all those we may have had over the years, that the evidence that you get in this report is amazing and surprises many people. Now, when I do debriefs with people, I could tell you story after story, but it is absolutely stunning. So let's briefly chat about this assessment, how it works, and what it does, before we connecting this to the entrepreneurs and business owners. I hope that that's okay with you and that makes sense. Now, I'm talking about DISC. It's Maxwell DISC, and where it separates themselves from some of the other programs. First of all, it's got 30 pages of information. Secondly, it's also got leadership strength and ideas implementing this, because John Maxwell is the #1 leadership expert in the world, and they've collaborated and made the DISC profile you get even bigger, even more important to you. But it's not new. It is nearly a century old, because I think a guy called William Marsden wrote about it and started putting this all together in 1928. So that's what, 93 years ago, yeah, this year. But when we become aware of the pattern of how people communicate, we not only know what kind of communication to expect from them, we also know how to best prepare for and interact with and respond to them in order to have a successful connection. Is a live radio show. Yeah. But that begins by discovering our own style, of course. Now, I'm going to give you 2 examples here for you to think into. And the first one is, and I do that in my keynote and my PowerPoint presentation when I do half-day workshop as well, but the first one is, if you're standing in front of an elevator and all of a sudden the elevator opens, there is already some people in, and you are absolutely delighted that you're not on your own. You walk in there, you say, "Oh, hello, wonderful to see you," and you say, "Good morning, what a wonderful day it is," and you start talking to people, and you're excited because there's people in there. Now, if you like that, keep that in mind. Or I mean, if you're just downright happy to see people, and you start conversations with them. So bear that in mind just now. The other side of it is, of course, that same elevator door opens, and you're standing there looking at the floor, hoping that there is nobody in there, that you don't have to have any unnecessary conversations, that you can just be your own and be by yourself. And some of you people, they walk in the elevator and start looking at if there is any people in it at all, they start looking at the weight limit, that you make sure that there is that we're not over the limit, and how many people you can have in it, and count the people. You get all that kind of stuff as well. But if you're that kind of person or persons that you really wanted to be by yourself, and you don't want to make any conversation, so you're actually more reserved, really. The first two the first ones are outgoing, and the second part, you are more reserved. So already, which one are you? Then the second one, and say, this is a brief overview. The second one, you're going on holiday. Now this is exciting, and you already make plans on what to go and do. You're going to go to the sea, so you're going to go scuba diving, you're going to go windsurfing, you're going to swim, and you're going to do all kinds of things. And on the last minute, you open your suitcase, you throw in what you need, a couple of pair of shorts and a t-shirt, and you're set. You're going on holiday. Now, if that's you, and then because you're connecting with other people, you're going to see different cultures, you're going to have all these amazing things happening. If that is you, then you are a kind of people kind of person. So you're not really interested in all the details, because the other people who are going on the same holiday, and there got to be some of them, they actually make sure that the trip has been laid out, and if you're going by car, the whole route has already been described, where you're going to stop for petrol, where you're going to stop for a cup of coffee, how long it's going to take you, how far it is to your apartment, how many t-shirts and socks and whatever you need to take for the full fortnight, and you get all this kind of stuff, and exactly lay out a schedule of when you get there. You already know what's available and what you're going to do. Those kind of people. Now, those people are, of course, more detailed. So are you just a happy-go-lucky and you're into the people side of things, and you're more people-centric, or are you more task-centric? So if you put that together, now you'll have a very basic idea who you are. So if you see DISC is in a square where you got D, I, S, and C. Now, if you are outgoing and you're task-centered, you're a D. Now, a D stands for dominant. They are outgoing and task-focused. To communicate with a D, you need to be brief, be specific, and be gone. Now, how helpful is that already, if you know these kind of people? Then, if you are outgoing and you're a people person, you're an I. From the disc board. I stands for influencing, so they're outgoing and people-oriented. Now, communicate with an I. Don't do all the talking. Follow up with details in writing because they have no idea, but don't have long meetings either. Again, very helpful when you connect with an I. Then, of course, if you are reserved in front of the elevator and you're also people-oriented, then you're an S, because S is for steady. They're reserved and people-oriented. Communicating with an S, be brief, be friendly, show an interest in them, avoid confrontation, and give them time if change is needed. I hope that also makes sense. And of course, the fourth one, the C's have already figured it out. That's them, the C's. So if you are reserved and you're task-oriented, you're a C. You stand for compliant. They are reserved and task-oriented. So communicating with a C, you need to provide details, be precise, and be patient. Now, there's the 4 basic personalities. So you might be thinking, well, that's nice, but what does that have to do with me? Each day you have multiple opportunities to connect with other people. If we approach them the right way, it works great. If you approach them in a wrong way, it could be harmful. I'm just having a look. Oh, we've got another half a minute. So there's a lot more to this, of course, and I've just talked about the 4 basic styles just to get you into this, but there are 41 combinations, because you're a bit of everything, but there's 41 combinations. But find your one, and the 30-page report from an assessment like this will really, really be an eye-opener. So we're going to take another 2 to 3 minute break. Join us at ibgr.radio, and I will see you very shortly. So don't go away. Come back in 3 minutes. Take care.